So in this video, I'm going to go over layers and masks, the two main components when it comes to non-destructive editing in Photoshop. Okay, so you need to really master these two ideas and concepts and tools before you can do the more advanced thing. Otherwise, it gets really complicated, or you end up just copying techniques rather than understanding the components of it. Okay, so open two images in Photoshop. You would need to follow the instructions posted online in launching the Lightroom, and from Lightroom we're going to open two images from Lightroom, and that way when we save it, it saves back to Lightroom and into the database that we created earlier. Okay, so if you're haven't done that, please pause, go to launch Lightroom, and then from Lightroom follow the instruction to open the two images in Photoshop. If you've done, pause here if you haven't done that. If you've done that, we'll continue. Okay, so now two images are open in Photoshop. One is your background and one is your main subject that you're going to put on top of the foreground. Okay, so this is my background. I'm going to go over to my foreground image, the pomegranate. There's two ways to get this image, or there's multiple ways to get this image into your background. So one is with the move tool here. You just hold on to it and then you move. This way is a little more difficult, so I like to just copy and paste. So you can do shortcut Command All to select the entire image, or you go up to select here all. Okay, and then you can do Command C, or in edit and copy. Okay, so either one. I like using shortcuts, so I'm going to do Command C. I'll click onto my background image, Command V to paste. Okay, or go to edit and paste. Okay, either way. So now you have this layer. I'm going to go my subject layer. You can say subject or whatever, pomegranate or whatever you have that makes sense to you. Now a few things that I want you to do. So now we have two different layers, right? We have the background layer and then we have the foreground, which is the subject layer. So layers just mean you're stacking one image on top of the other. If you see that, look, I'm just stacking image. And if I keep on stacking, there's going to be more and more things on top of one another, right? Which, you're just blocking one image over the other image if you do nothing with it, right? So with the opacity here, if I bring opacity down, look, suddenly now this layer is more transparent, and because it's more transparent, I can see the layer below. Okay, so that's kind of essentially the concept, okay, of the opacity and layers. Okay, so first I want to adjust for the size. It's not necessary, but it's something that you might want to do. So there's two ways to do it. Obviously, I like to use shortcuts. So Command T, and you'll get this box around it. Okay. So make sure this link is click. So if it's not click, what happened is your image will be deformed. You see, it's not moving proportionally. Okay. So if you click it, it moves it proportionally. Okay. So it just doesn't deform your image. Okay. So I'm just gonna move this like so, as big as I want or as small as I want. So I want to do this size. Okay, so now that I like it, there should be a check mark somewhere here. I don't see it for some reason. Yeah, I don't see it. So if I don't see it, if you're in this situation like me and I don't see the check mark, all I need to do is just click another layer and then automatically would render it. Okay, so, but if you see a check mark here, then just select the check mark saying it's okay. Okay, so now that it's the size I want to remove the background. Okay, so first I'm going to go to the selection tool, object selection, and I'm going to go over the pomegranate because I just want the pomegranate. So, but if I want the pomegranate and the dish, what I would do, let's do it. So I would hold on shift, make sure this part is selected, right? And I'm going to hold on shift and also click on the dish. Okay, so you need to make sure in the option area, this part here, the second add to selection is selected. Okay, and then the dish would be selected. But in this case, I don't want to select the dish, so I'm going to undo that. I just want the pomegranate. Okay, so now that your object is selected, right, we're going to go to the mask, here, layer mask, and then we're going to click. Okay, so automatically your image is selected. Okay, so I'm going to move it a little bit. So click on the move tool, make sure I click on the image here because I'm moving the image and not the mask. I want it over the pencil area there. Okay, so maybe I want to make it a little bigger still. So I'm going to hit Command T, making sure the image is selected. Make it slightly bigger and then move it. Okay, I like it, and then I'm gonna render that. I'm gonna click back on my mask tool here. You see this edges is really sharp, so maybe I don't want the edge to be that sharp. I'm gonna go to the brush tool. Remember, black is to block, right? So if I use black, so just for a demonstration, if I use black, I'm gonna block that image, which means I'm gonna erase, okay? And white is to reveal, right? So if I do white, you can see the dish coming out, okay? And I don't want to do that, so I just want the pomegranate. Okay, but I feel that the edges is a bit too sharp, so this is additional thing you can play with. So remember the keyboard next to the P, the bracket, the right side is to enlarge your brush, like so. The left side is to decrease the brush. So I'm gonna make the brush a little bit smaller. Gonna go up to here, make sure the hardness is 0, so it's very soft and feathered. And I'm gonna zoom in a little bit, Command and the plus sign to zoom in. And then I'm just gonna do like that, so it's not that sharp. Okay, but now it doesn't look good, so I'm gonna undo that. Okay, I'm gonna soften the edge just a little bit. Okay. So there's another way to do this, but I want you to do this way for now, just to practice your brush tool. Okay, so now look, the edges is a bit sharper, less sharp, I mean. So I'm going to do this slowly across the entire image so it doesn't look so blunt, just to soften the edge a little bit. Okay, so if any time you make a mistake, like something like this, we can do the opposite, and I want to reveal the pomegranate again. Okay. So the objective here is just to soften the edge so it blends into the background just a little bit better. Okay. So if you're very advanced and you know how to do it the other way, go ahead and do the other way. But for beginners or everybody else, I want you to practice using it this way. Just this way, you're able to practice brush. Okay, so if you notice this was cut off a little bit, I'm gonna get the brush really small and then just bring it back up. But that was a little too much, the white. Okay, so I think I'm happy here. Command the minus side on your keyboard will zoom out to see how it looks. Okay, so for this exercise, I think I'm okay with this, but I think For professionalism, you would need to work it a lot more to make sure there's not a glow around your object. Okay, so I think for the exercise, I'm happy with this. You can also try opacity, playing with opacity. So now the blends, right? Another thing you can try playing with is the blend mode here. You know, you want to darken, multiply, burn, and just play with this blend mode for the fun of it, and see what kind of effect you want. I kind of like this effect, okay? So something we're gonna work on is overlay, this section here, next few weeks. So maybe I like this actually. Oh, this is actually introduced. Okay, so play with this to see what effect that you like, and then take a screenshot of it when you're done. Okay, so I think I like this, but maybe I want it a little bigger. Actually, I like this color dodge. So basic color dodge, you just dodging the color. Okay, I want it a little bigger. I'm gonna click on the image here, the image thumbnail. Command T, remember to transform or to scale. Bring the pomegranate up, make it quite big, a little bit bigger. Okay, and then check or just render and select the other layer. Okay, so I think I'm happy with this, and if you're happy with it, you go to save, and this will save back into your Lightroom if you launched it from Lightroom. If not, save as into your database. But I'm not going to save it. This is just for demonstration. You're going to give me a screenshot of this and then submit it and upload it into eCentennial. Okay, so practice with a lot of different image, play with it. Before next class, I want you to be really, really familiar with layers, how layer works, and masking. Okay, so these are just layers and masking basics.